Good day and welcome to the Evening Review. I'm Ashley Smith, the news editor of Namibian Sun. Let's take a look at today's front page. There was high drama at State House earlier this afternoon, where President Hage Geingob declared a national state of emergency related to the coronavirus outbreak in Namibia. Here's footage from that drama-filled media conference.
I'll just release a press statement, huh? Okay?
Want to come back? Want to come back?
You like this place? Well, we have taught you how to be transparent, so I hope you can accept that and use it properly. If you misuse it, we are going to close down. Huh? We talk about serious and ministers were denied. How do I come and be open? Well, if I change my mind and I'm not going to call a press conference tomorrow, then I will inform you. If you want to come, you can come and we can talk. Okay?
Staying on today's front page, our reporter Kenya Kambowe spoke to APP councillor Matthews Wakadumo, who was among the casualties when Urban and Rural Development Minister Pierre Mushelenga suspended the entire Rundu Council yesterday and placed the local authority under administration.
Happening because this never started today. It has been an ongoing issue, yes, related with the political misunderstanding and incorrect calculated. So this I will not really bother myself into it, but let the law of Namibia speaks itself. We are governed by the Constitution of the Republic of Namibia. No any political interference should do respect in this regard. So the cause of this suspension derived from a certain political party who failed to get their house in order.
Yes.
Now me as the opposition, what to do?
Yes.
Now, are you happy that you have lost your seat on this town council, which we voted for, because of the infighting in our political party?
I'm not happy at all, be it my people, the party who sent me to come and serve the nation, in particular the resident of Rundu, is totally not happy. Because the people outside there, their own cry for service delivery. Now, since December up to date, nothing has worked out. It is just inside fighting.
So,
inside fighting, please people.
So, Honorable Kudumo, if I put it differently, are you saying that if the ministry had to take a decision, should us only supposed to take it against the ruling party because they were at the center of this?
Exactly.
Okay.
That should be the way to do.
Okay.
Because you cannot bring all the people inside while they know, and it was communicated to the office of the minister,
yes,
that this is the infight. The infight does not involve all the political parties,
yes,
only especially to the one.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And welcome back. Our reporter Jemima Bucas sat down with Dr Ndumba Kamwanyah, a seasoned political analyst and commentator, and spoke about the head of state cutting ministries from 26 to 19 yesterday, among other government restructuring changes. She also asked about the possible political pitfalls for President Hage Geingob as the coronavirus outbreak in Namibia continues to make news.
Good day, my name is Jemima Beatrice for Evening Review. Thank you for tuning in, and please stay tuned and even call others to join you. We have in the studio with us today Dr. Ndumba Kamwanyah, a seasoned political and social commentator who will be sharing views or giving his insight on the future of the government structure as announced by the President yesterday. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Ndumba.
Oh, thank you for having me. So, I start?
Yes.
Yeah, well, overall, one could say that it is a right step in the right direction, because the Namibian public have been complaining that the cabinet is too large and they are not getting any reward for having such a big and large cabinet. So if you look at it in the sense that at least the ministries have been reduced to 19. So in that light, maybe one can applaud the president that he is listening to the people, as he himself said that I have heard you. So that is a good sign and a good beginning. But I should say that it is still a long way home in terms of service delivery, in terms of efficiency, in terms of effectiveness. There are two critical ingredients that are that we still don't know much. So we have to wait. And one is we have to see what kind of people are going to be appointed in those 19 positions in terms of their competencies, their qualities and their characters. Will they be able to deliver? Because remember, it's not just a structure that delivers, it has to do with the leadership in charge of that particular structure. So we will know more after he announces his new cabinet members. And the second ingredient that I think is lacking, it might be there behind the scene, but I did not see it coming out in that report that were provided, is that whether we can scientifically say that this restructuring will deliver for us. We have evidence to back it up. The reason why we have made certain arrangement and moved certain ministry to be merged with other ministries. What are the scientific evidence backing the president that it will work? That must also be sorted out. I'm not saying that it's not there, it might be there. It's probably what guided them throughout this process, but it is important because you are not just doing a restructuring for the sake of restructuring. You want to make some improvement in terms of cost saving. So there's no need for you to undertake such a huge exercise. At the final end, it will not lead to cost-effective outcomes. So those are one of the those are the two ingredients that we still have to watch as we go along.
Sorry for interjecting. Speaking about cost effectiveness, we've seen the president obviously cutting down from 19 to 26, and yet the president has also at the same event announced that he will not, as the public has demanded, he will not do away with all the special advisors. He may even add more, because in his words, president obviously needs help. And then there's the other issue, the fact that he also said he will be doing away with the special advisors to regional governors. Yet at the same time, he will appoint someone who may be on the level of that of a permanent secretary in the past, which is now executive director. What do you make of that? Do you think he has gone far enough?
Well, that is the question, because what he did not really explain in a press release yesterday is really what is the motive behind his restructuring. So is it the cost saving? But in the mind and the eyes of the public is the cost saving, because that's what many people have been complaining. So it's that rationale why he, he's rearranging the way he's arranging it. But yes, you are right that it looked to me as a layperson like a contradiction. Here you are talking that you want to, trim the cabinet, you want to save cost, but you are doing away with the advisors and put them a more expensive position in place to replace the advisors to the region. So there is some unalignment in terms of his thinking there. But as I say, that I don't know what is the rationale that he really undertook this exercise. Is it cost saving, or there's also some other reasoning that he wanted to achieve? Yes.
Dr. Ndumba, the president yesterday also, one of the things he said is that obviously we all know that the high-level panel on the economy of the country has recommended that free land be given in informal settlements. Now the president, who has also in the, I think it was a year ago, declared the situation or the living conditions of people living in informal settlements a humanitarian crisis. Now he said he wants to start with a place like Mix, obviously with this recommendations, and use it as an example. At the same time, the president also said the inequality in this country is giving him headaches. It worries him. It really worries him. That's what he said. Now, the president has also been in this government for the last 30 years in in prominent positions. What do you make of that?
Well, let's start with the recommendation itself. It is a huge undertaking. Including myself, I want that, people that cannot afford land must be given that land, provided that they utilize it more effective and more, to respond to their basic needs. Because land and housing is a right. So for the panel to recommend that, I think we should also applaud them. But having said that, especially in the tough economic where we find ourselves, we must answer the question, where is that money going to come from? I think that is the key. Giving land is fine, but where is that money going to come from to cover that land, and also even helping the people build on those lands? So we need to think about that, whether we are going to get it through increasing the taxi or donor or all those kind of things. So that must be mapped out, because that is the problem I had with the higher level panel recommendations, that they don't have a roadmap really to tell the president that this is how you are going to implement. Again, maybe behind they have provided him that information. So it's going to be difficult for him really to come up again with the implementation plan. So your second half of the question is
the inequality.
Yes, it's good to see that the president is not sleeping about these issues, and he shouldn't, to be frank, because it is a contradiction in terms of what we fought, what many people fought for and died for, and up to now we haven't really addressed that key aspect, which is the inequality and poverty, and the land being part of that. So it's good to see that that he is having that on his heart, but I think it should also not just be a matter of expressing it, but we want to see action. Yes, the public would love probably to see some action in that direction, and also maybe doing away with the old policies that we have that are becoming barriers to promote equality and income equality, and to that for that extent, because I think some of the reason why we haven't achieved the equality in terms of incomes and economic is some of the policies that are in existence, that they are somehow skewed towards the top people. I mean the top rich people, elite, and against the rest of the people.
Speaking about that, the skewed policies, the president also at his briefing yesterday, he's also said this in the past repeatedly, that he is worried and concerned that young Namibians have become tribalist. Yet the young people, we've seen like the affirmative action, affirmative representing aligned youth have been protesting, and they say they are not tribal, they are angry. So what do you make of this? The fact that the president is saying young people are tribal, and but the young people say they have a reason to be angry.
Well, it depends. Let me say the president is a politician, and I would take that as a political statement, because there have been, people retreating back to their, ethnicities in terms of demanding what the government should do for their regions and all those kind of things. So I'm not taking words out of his mouth, but I was thinking that he was speaking in political terms, just in general, not necessarily that the young people are the ones that are becoming, tribalistic. But for me, my analysis will go with your take in terms of your question, that I don't think that young people are becoming tribalistic. I think young people are frustrated. They are angry at the situation, and I think that is what is pushing the whole agenda for them even to support the independent candidate. So I haven't seen evidence that they are tribalistic. Yes, there were some tribal sentiments that have been made out, and that is I think it's a national issue in itself, that even if you look at the election outcomes of last year, if you analyze it, you will see that pattern, how we voted for the first time, which was a little bit driven by in which region you were and all those kind. And that's what I'm seeing, that it's more of a national issue. It's not just the young people. That yes, there is that nativism, that people are trying to use their ethnic to ask what government can do for them, instead of using a national lens to ask what the government can do for them.
Going on what you've just said about the voting pattern, now in last year's elections, the ruling party and the president himself has now come out with a significantly reduced mandate. Do you think him restructuring or announcing these drastic changes could be a way for him to try and restore his image?
It looks like let's take to what he said, that I have heard you. It looks like that restructuring is in line with the message that he got from the election last year, and the outcry, the public outcry. So I think he's trying to refocus himself and refocus his presidency, and trying to listen more and respond to the people's needs. Will it work? That is the next question that we have to wait and see.
Now, speaking about will it work, now the president also said that he thinks he would like to see more PhD holders in his cabinet. What do you make of that?
Well, first of all, it's not the PhD that makes somebody, work effectively or do their work. PhD is just an education and a tool to enable you to, achieve what you want to achieve. But I will not say that a cabinet dominated by PhD will deliver them what the other people haven't, or what other people will not deliver. So it's not just the qualification. There are a lot of other attributes that one have to, look into appointing someone. So it should not just be entirely on education. And that's why even in job interviews, they don't necessarily just go on that qualification, because
the president himself is on record saying the country is not built by PhD holders.
Yes, and I agree. And I agree. We are more theoretical driven. It's not, especially the academic part of the PhD, theoretical driven, not really practical oriented to respond to the needs of the country. So I think what you should look at is the qualities of the people, their attributes, their standing in society, their leadership style, and then maybe PhD is a bonus for that. So
speaking about their standing in society, we've obviously seen many of the cabinet members ending up in, standing on trial for a number of cases.
Yes, cases. Yeah.
Why, in your view, is it so important to have a good standing in the public? It's the issue that is linked to transparency of the government, but also not just the transparency, the ethical conduct of public officials, especially those in top leadership. You must be an exemplary conduct to ordinary people. So if people at the top are the ones scrambling for the resources of this country, so what do you expect from ordinary people that they are leading? So I think it's a very critical element that cannot be ignored, no matter whether if somebody has a PhD or a master's or whatever qualification that they have. I think a good standing in society in terms of how they behave, in terms of how they treat others, in terms of how they view their office, I think are key elements of good governance. Dr. Ndumba, before we close down or conclude this, like I've said earlier, we have 2 coronavirus cases reported in the country. Several measures, preventative measures, have been introduced by government itself. What potential pitfalls are there? Would you guard the presidency against as we prepare as a country, as a government, to tackle this disease?
I don't think I'm probably qualified to advise him. I think the best advisors are the Ministry of Health and Social Services, and all of us are listening to what they are putting out there through the President's office or through their own channels. So I think my advice is probably more to the ordinary or to the citizens, that we should be very careful, especially in terms of the social media, to post anything that is not yet been confirmed by the Ministry of Health and Social Services. I think they are working with the CDC and with the office of the President. I think we should guard against the impulsive of trying to show that that I was the first to post this information, because the danger that we can do to the country now is really to mislead people with information that is not credible. So that's why I will refrain from advising the President. I will let the Minister of Health and Social Service be the advisor, including his advice on health matters.
Thank you very much again for joining us. Thank you very much for tuning in, and please keep safe, wash your hands, open your windows for the sunlight, and thank you again.
Thank you.
And that's all we have time for today on the Evening Review. Join us again tomorrow. I'm Ashley Smith, the news editor of Namibian Sun.